welcome to another AMA on Spintop Network. My name is Justin, I'm the Partnerships Manager, and today we're hosting Bitverse once again. They have new updates to share with us. Long time no see, how's everything going?
It's going great. Very happy to be back here, Justin.
Thank you. So just in case there are new people in the community and they didn't watch the last video, could you tell us a bit about your background and your position in Bitverse, please?
We sure can. My name is Jorge Gonzalez. I am the VP of Product at Kongregate on our blockchain vertical. I've been working in the game industry for 10 years and at Kongregate for around 4. I'm a big games enthusiast. I grew up with my brother playing Sega Mega Drive games, then moved to PC. I've always been a Blizzard kid, as many others. And then I moved a little bit into the industry and started to learn the in and outs of all of this.
Great. And what about you, Donnie?
Hi, I'm Donnie McCullough. I'm a senior product manager at Kongregate. I'm over kind of the Bitverse and have responsibility for that, particularly the blockchain elements of the Bitverse as we get it here up and running. I have not been at Kongregate or in the game industry nearly as long as Jorge. I joined Kongregate about 4.5 months ago, and before that, I wasn't in the game industry. I actually worked for a major financial institution doing strategy analysis and product management. So I worked over there. However, I have played video games my whole life since my days with Nintendo, just to age me a little bit, and played them my whole life. And I'm a huge fan, but I'm actually even a bigger fan of blockchain and crypto. And that's really what brought me over here. And then the ability to do it with video games was just like a magical marriage, if you will. And here I am.
Great, pleasure meeting you. I must say it is a big honor to be chatting with you today. So let's dive in. Bitverse, what are you planning to offer to the community? A better gameplay or a faster return of investment?
We are gameplay first. We are game developers. Kongregate, which is the company behind Bitverse, has been in the industry for 16 years. So for us, it's always been about delivering a great experience to everyone, having fun, and playing and owning and increasing the value of whatever you do, like increasing the value of your assets, of your NFT heroes or your NFT items by playing more the game, not by just waiting outside, clicking a couple things here and there and getting done with it.
Yeah, so when people think about 2D games and 8-bit graphics, most people think of Pokemon. Aside from the game's topic and general approach to the game, what are the main differences between Bitverse and Pokemon-like games?
Well, I'll say this. First of all, this year, we're going to have 3 games out there in the market. So Beat Heroes Quest is the original game. It's from 2016. And it's very fun because it's an RPG with team battler mechanics where you actually capture familiars. You don't capture them, you bribe them, but it's kind of similar to capturing Pokemon. So it's fun that you ask us these questions. But what is different about it? It's an RPG. I think more about like Beat Heroes Quest is more like you mix Final Fantasy with Pokemon and you get our game, right? You have your main hero that you can upgrade, that you can, put different pieces of equipment on. And then you have your set of familiars that you have to bribe, aka capture, to go with you in your adventures. So that is Beat Heroes Quest. Then we're going to launch Beat Heroes Arena next month. Arena is a battle royale type of game. So for the people in our audience who are not familiar with that, that's the kind of a Fortnite type of game, right? Kind of a Brawl Stars if you play on mobile type of game. And what's great about it is that I don't think anyone has ever seen a game like this with this type of art style. And, it's a favorite game internally. We play it almost every single week. And, the more I've been thinking about like what makes it special, it's just like, it's this art style that makes you feel like you're playing on your Nintendo, on your own Nintendo SNES or on the Mega Drive. But somehow it's like multiplayer and you're fighting, people in real time, and it's just very fun. And then the third game is Beat Heroes Runner, which is an endless runner type of game, where your character is running away from a dragon that is trying to kill him, and you're encountering different foes, enemies, obstacles that you need to overcome, and as you do that, you also collect gear, you upgrade your character, etc., etc., etc. So those are the 3-year games for this year.
And to tell me, how did you come up with the idea of combining all those in a game? You have the RPG, the Battle Royale, and the runners.
So it's more like we have the universe, which is the Bitverse, that's the umbrella, right? And below the umbrella, we have different games that are connected between each other by the blockchain, right? By Web3 technology. And they're connected by your character, your hero, which is basically your avatar in this world, which is going to be unique in its looks, right? And it's going to have all the PFP typical properties that you would find out there. And the main difference is that you can play with your PFP owner games, right? Compared to other projects that don't really have anything. So how that we came up with the idea? I think it was for me, as I mentioned, I'm a Blizzard kid. I grew up playing all these different games, right? And then I started to see like, okay, like they have Warcraft 3, which was like an RTS, and they have like the MMORPG World of Warcraft, and in World of Warcraft you had like some different game modes in the battlegrounds, right? And then they launched Hearthstone, right, which is basically using the same IP. And for me that was very cool, but that was never, there was always like a piece missing there. Like, I don't know, I've been playing all these games for all this time, and I'm not really getting anything for doing that besides, the pleasure, the experience, etc. So what I thought is, okay, what if my character in these games kind of just went with me through this journey, right, across all the games? Wouldn't that be cool? And I think that's how I started to think about the Bitverse a little bit.
Yeah, if I can jump in here, as Jorge said, it's kind of universe centered as opposed to maybe even game centered. Like we've started to develop a world fiction about it. Like you become your NFT avatar, your Bitverse hero, and in the world fiction, we've had these like titans suddenly appear within the universe, and each of the games kind of corresponds to something the titans, these individual titans, are doing within the universe. And the idea is that we will slowly start to bring in more cohesive storyline around all this. And as we add future games, additional games in the future, they'll add other elements to it. And we even are talking about launching like a season pass that kind of incorporates all of the games. Like you do certain portions in each one, and maybe you unlock new portions of a story or something like that as we go further.
Great. I love the idea. So I read in the white paper that you would focus on competition between players, and we don't see this a lot on-chain blockchain games. What will you do differently to maintain a competitive and rewarding environment?
So that's a great question, and I think that's also, as you mentioned, it's an element that differentiates us, from other projects. To answer the question, what we're going to do is like each one of the games is going to have its own kind of PvP modes, right? So if you're playing Beat Heroes Quest, it's more the RPG turn-based game, right? So it's more about being strategic against another player, and balance there is a little bit more difficult to achieve, because at the end of the day, like you level up your character, it becomes stronger. So if you say you're like level 20 and you're playing against someone who's level 5, you're going to have an advantage, that's for sure, right? That probably you won't be able to overcome with skill. You will need to get at least to the same level as the other guy to try to beat him up. But I think it's normal in any type of game like this. Then Arena, Beat Heroes Arena, which is the battle royale type of game that I was talking about, that one's going to be super balanced, right? Like at the end of the day, it's going to be like matches of 5 to 10 minutes, very short, very fun, very engaging, very fast paced and action driven. And they are like, everybody's going to start from the same place. It's more like a mini race, right? And it's more about, just survive. You have to be the last man standing. and have a good time. So that's how we're going to keep competitive that game. It's just, it resets every single match. You will collect weapons, you will level up within the match, but all of that will go away on the next one. And then on Runner, it's also a little bit power driven, right? At the end of the day, you're running, away from this boss that I talked about, and the further that you get, the higher your score. And then you're going to get to a leaderboard where your score is going to be seen by other players, and they're going to try to beat you out. So there's a skill component, but there's also like a power component. So it's a little bit more balanced in that regard.
Great. And what about the heroes? You have beat heroes and they have attributes. And how are those attributes affecting the game? Are there any important perks of the gameplay?
Yeah. So again, it varies game to game, right? So if you're playing the RPG, your heroes have mainly 3 attributes. They have attack power, they have health points, and they have agility, which is basically speed. So obviously, as you collect gear and you level them up, you upgrade those stats in essence. And you have like bonuses, perks, special effects, like a lot of tiny things around that makes them more or less powerful. So that's what makes them that's how measures power in the game, like how big these numbers are. Then on Arena, like there's no, like everybody will start, let's say from the ground on every single match, and you have the same set of stats. You can, during the match, I think you can get up to level 5 right now, but we're planning to extend that to level 10. And as you keep leveling up by beating enemies in the map, you can upgrade these stats. Again, it's attack points, it's health, or it's agility, which is basically speed. And your character, does different things and becomes better at different things as you level up these stat points. So, for example, if you're playing with a dagger, because as you're playing Arena, you're going to find different weapons, right? You're going to find a dagger. You're going to find the sword and the shield. You're going to find a magic staff, a magic wand, different things, and you're going to pick up those things, and they're going to have different skills, right? That you're going to be able to use to try to survive. Now, obviously, if you're playing with a dagger or the bow, probably speed is a good thing to level up in the match, right? To get an advantage and to kind of build synergies between what you're leveling up and what your play style is. But we'll let players figure that out as they come and play. And then Runner, the biggest thing in Runner, there's like 2 big stats in the game, which are power points, and the other one is score multipliers, right? So power points, it's basically an attack measurement. So you can have 10, 20, 30 power points. And as I mentioned, like you're running away from the boss, right? And you're going to encounter enemies. And these enemies are going to have power points as well. So imagine if I have 30 power points, you have 20, I see you, I can defeat you. I can just keep running across that lane. But if you have 30 and I have 20, I know that I have to avoid you or else I'm going to die and stop my scoring streak. And then the second stat is, again, score multiplier. So, you're going to collect these pieces of gear. They're going to increase your score multiplier, which is going to allow you to compete like with more and more players, score higher and higher points, etc. So those are the stats across the games. And yeah, they're all figured out in the NFTs as well. Donnie can probably talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'll jump in there. So our NFT, our Bitverse heroes, they're going to come in 5 different rarities: common, rare, epic, legendary, and mythic. And all of them have some perks. For example, all of them will store like in-game progression and whatnot. We could probably get into further on other questions. But the higher rarity ones do come with additional perks that the lower rarity ones start. Now, like Jorge was mentioning, in game, like a mythic hero versus a common hero, if they're of the same level, will actually have an equal chance of being able to compete against one another. The mythic hero is not going to be twice as strong as the common hero or anything like that. So it'll be fair in these types of competitions. But the perks the higher rarity ones do have are usually things that maybe enable them to level up faster in terms of they come with, they get to have the bonuses from watching ads without watching the ads. Maybe the person gets to play a little bit faster. Some of the higher rarity ones, if you're epic and above, will come with an NFT pet that we will release later. And that pet will grant a stat bonus that a lower tier hero may not have access to. So that may enable the higher tier person to find items faster, level up quicker, run around the dungeons faster, those type of things, depending on the game. And so that's really, I think, where the perks at the rarity come into play. They probably enable someone to level up faster, but they don't actually cause you to level up faster, if that makes sense. They give you more tools that you can use. But again, at the higher levels of play, and going back to the whole player versus player thing, players of equal, say, leveling on their common versus mythic, we're really trying to design in such a way it's going to come down to player skill, not just necessarily the perks.
Yeah, thank you. You have so many features. And which is the best one in your opinion?
To me, the best one is the in-game progression that we're storing with the heroes. So when you're playing with these heroes, you're leveling your attributes, your non-NFT items that you find will actually kind of be associated with that NFT hero. And if for some reason you ever wanted to give it to a friend, trade it to someone, sell it to someone, when they get that hero, they're not going to be starting over from scratch. The in-game progression that you have earned is actually going to transfer with the hero. So these heroes over time should get bigger, faster, stronger, whatever terms you want to use. But where I think we have looking forward, and this won't be enabled day one, but where we are looking forward is trying to really utilize some of the NFT technology to think about what else can we add in the future as well. And where I start to get excited is, yes, having all that in-game progression, which is fantastic, but also starting to link in, say, achievements, if you will, like storing that as a new thing. So like if a particular Bitverse hero wins some big leaderboard in Runner or Arena, or win some big tournament, like we start to store that information along with the NFT and have it associated there. So we actually start to develop Bitverse heroes with like renown, if you will. And then there starts to be so much more stuff you can do with that as we move forward. And that's probably what gets me excited, both the in-game progression that we're going to have at launch, and then what we can do with that as we move forward.
Yeah. What about you, Jorge? What's your favorite feature?
Yeah, I think Donnie stole my favorite. It's the one that I always play.
It's a common favorite, yeah.
Yeah, I think being the owner of my hero with its progression and everything that it collects, I think it's the main thing, and it's also why your assets are going to appreciate in value, right? For example, like we know from free to play that there's players who spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on their heroes, right? That's value that it's directly injected into your NFT. Like whatever you spend in the game, it has a 1-1 correlation. The same way that if you play the game for a year, how much is a year worth of time for you, Justin? Like probably a lot, right?
Yeah,
so,
it is a lot, of course.
So would you rather purchase this from Donnie, for example, if he decides to sell his character, or go and play and try to start from scratch, right? And put a year into it. So I think that's one of the things that excites me the most. And yeah, we have all these perks, and the ad-free experience is nice, and getting bonus gems whenever you make a purchase is fine, and having like special Discord status, and there's a lot of nice little things that end up adding to something really cool. But yeah, I think in-game progression is the thing that I love the most.
Yeah, great. And about the NFTs, will it be possible to farm NFT gears just by playing the game without purchasing in the marketplace?
So, well, we don't like to say farming gear, but we do have plans. It won't be necessarily at launch. This is like a 2023 thing, but we are right now designing something called the Bitforge, where the idea is that you will be able to take non-NFT items that you earn within the games, and then actually take them to the forge and take the item, maybe some token once we launch that, and maybe one or two other things, depending on the recipe, and you'll actually be able to forge it into an NFT. and it will no longer be an in-game asset. It'll now be an NFT asset that you will actually be on the blockchain. You can trade it, sell it, utilize it for as long as you want, and then decide what you want to do with it, collect them. So we do have plans to do that. And so when we reach that stage, again, I don't want to say we're going to have people just farming them, but like if you want to collect these NFTs, you will have the access to do it. Or if you're at a point in the game where you need a particular sword and for whatever reason you are unable to obtain it, then maybe you can go to the marketplace and kind of bypass that thing in the game, the actions in the game, and actually get it and then be able to progress in the game and then trade it to someone else or keep it or whatever. And so we do anticipate that coming along, and that is definitely a feature we will have. The other piece is those NFT items. We also, once you forge it to an NFT item, we would like to at least have them have some sort of usability across all of the titles. Now, depending on the title, the what use they have may change. It may just simply be cosmetic. But if you end up having one of these NFT items, and let's say you used it in our RPG, well, maybe you go to the arena and it becomes a cosmetic, but maybe you take it to runner and it becomes a weapon you use that can go through barriers or something like that, or whatever future games we have. But that's kind of our thinking on that.
Yeah, I love the idea. I also saw mounts. How will they assist my journey?
Its mounts are very similar to gear, although they have like in the sense that they provide stats, right, to your hero. A boost to any of those stats. Now, what's cool about them is that they make you look much better, when you're in the town or you're around other players and you have a really cool mount, like everybody notices, right? It's like having a cool car. When Lambo.
Yeah.
And sorry, I had to make the joke. And then basically in the other games, we're figuring out exactly how to use them, right? So for example, in Runner, your character basically has like a special skill that, it fills up as you play. And when you use it, a lot of the times the mount comes in to kind of reflect like that special, right? In Arena, we haven't figured it out. We haven't figured out yet like what we want to do, but probably it's going to be like, if you have played PUBG, right? You know that sometimes you find vehicles in the map, right? That you can jump on and use. So it'll probably be something like that, where there's a mount in the map, I can jump into it and I just get faster, right? To places.
Yeah, great. And what about the pets and familiars? Are they the same thing, or what are the differences?
They're a little bit different. So a pet is like this tiny companion thing that comes with you everywhere, right? And it gives you stats plus special skills in the different games. Familiars, like in Beat Heroes RPG, they are a little bit more of the partners that go with you in the adventure, right? So they have the same set of stats that your character have, right? And you need to use them effectively and synergistically to progress to certain levels, right? There's going to be challenges where you need like a specific setup, a specific team of familiars with you, right, to get through that. But in Arena, we in Runner, we couldn't find a place for them yet, but we're actually thinking about making a complete game around the familiars. So that will be more like 2023, 2024, but there are definitely plans for them.
Sounds like a plan. Can't wait for the next AMA. So I want to jump in some questions about the earning side of the game as well. Now, honestly, can players earn enough revenue to counter their investment? And if so, how long do you think it will take them?
Yeah, I will first off reiterating what Jorge said at the front. We're game first. You have a lot of games that are DeFi projects that are masquerading as a game, and we are definitely focused on the game. Our first game actually already exists. It doesn't have the NFT functionality yet, but it already exists, and it's existed for years, and we're evolving that. So we're definitely game first here. As far as earning on their investment, the second piece I want to throw out there is while we have tokenomics, they've been published on our white paper, we haven't launched our token yet. And again, our token isn't planned to come till next year. We wanted to focus on the NFT side first and the actual usability of the blockchain capabilities and functionalities in the game. And so we focused on the NFT of the heroes and make them your central thing. Can players earn an investment on there? Yes, Jorge mentioned it earlier, right? So as you use your character, you use your Bitverse NFT and level up your hero. If you did so choose, you can sell it on third-party marketplaces. And like he said, if you put a year into your hero, 6 months, whatever it is, and you put it on the marketplace, what is that worth to someone else versus starting over from scratch? If as we launch like higher level tournaments and with larger prizes and those types of things, there will probably be people who want to come along and be like, I don't want to spend 6 months to a year leveling up my character to go be able to compete in these tournaments. I want to compete today. So let me go find a character that's already leveled up to do that. And so that's probably, I don't like focusing on the earning aspects of this, but if I was, that's where I would tell people to go, is to get one of these characters, play the game, level up the heroes, focus on getting them leveled up in also all of the games, not just one of the games, all of the games. And then you could potentially look to turn your investment into liquidity.
And I think there's a couple of extra components there, right? So Donnie mentioned playing, which is obviously a huge one. There's also the fact that every single generation of NFT heroes that we put out there is going to be more and more expensive, right? So jumping in today is probably going to guarantee that, the long-term value is going to be higher for you. So that is one thing. And then another interesting aspect is that whenever we put the staking functionality out there, which again is going to come probably in the first half of 2023. If you own an NFT hero, you're going to get a bonus, right? So that affects your ability to earn very significantly.
Yeah, sounds good. So you still have time until your token launch, but have you planned the main ways to earn token in game?
Yeah, I mean, we've started to put some thought into it and start to put some stuff down on paper there. Again, as you said, the biggest ways are going to be in game. So like in the RPG, it's going to be doing your first player versus player contest each day, winning one of those. In arena, it's going to be competing in arena tournaments, competing your first one. And I can't remember the exact details of what it is, but you can qualify for that. And then in runner, completing your first run each day will earn you some tokens. Additionally, we will start putting them in for some, like in runner, we might have some that if you have a lot of skill and you're really good at it, we might have some tokens on the course that you might be able to grab as you're going through and playing. Now, they're not going to be cakewalks. They're going to be something you have to have some skill for. So I don't myself personally expect to earn those. But, other folks who are better at the game, hopefully they'll be able to earn them. Additionally, the BitPixel token will probably be on the reward track for season passes as we start to launch those in the future as well. So there'd be ways to earn those through doing in-game tasks as well.
Great. And other utilities of the token? Will you be introducing staking in the future?
Yes, we will be introducing staking. I mentioned the Bitforge earlier, the ability to create NFT items from in-game items. That will definitely be a big use of the token. And we're still exploring other ways to do it. We're talking about launching a player versus player bets, if you will, where you'll be able to compete against other players and put up tokens and winner take all. And we're always on the lookout for various usabilities of that. Jorge, did I forget? Were there any I forgot usabilities we've been talking about?
Did we talk about bets? Did we talk about tournaments? Did we talk about Bitforge, season pass? I think we got most of that there. Staking.
Yeah. Some entry fees for some of our higher level tournaments will require the token as well.
Yeah.
Great. So guys, I'll ask you a private question. This is between you and me, but I will still post it on YouTube. So
okay.
Careful what you answer. Do you believe that the game can be a massive success in the future? Maybe let's say like Axie Infinity in terms of token value and number of players?
That's a good question. We wouldn't be doing this if we did not believe in, the project and on us reaching success. Axie is like the top one, right? So I would say like, yeah, sure, we're gonna be better than them, but being realistic, I think even if we're half of what they are, would be very happy. So yeah, I think we can do very well in terms of the token value. Here's an important thing: our token will be an utility token mostly, right? If you want to extract value out of the ecosystem, what you would need to do is what Donnie was talking about a minute before: is engage with the Bitforge, right? So again, play first. That's the way to earn. That's the way to own, right? So you go and play. Imagine you get what we call a mythic item. You're lucky you get a mythic item in one of the games, right? That those are very rare to get. And then you go. It's a non-NFT version of the item, right? And then you go. You apply the token to the non-NFT item, and you get the NFT version, right? And there's only a few of those out there, and there's people who are going to want to buy them for sure, right? Like, to give you an example, when I was playing World of Warcraft very competitively, I had this expansion where I needed an item from the first kind of raid of the expansion. There were like 5 or 6, I don't remember, and I couldn't. It was the best item that I could get for my class, for my role, for everything, and I didn't get it until the last day of the expansion. It was impossible. I was so unlucky. If I could have gone to a marketplace and be like, hey, I put $20 in, or 50 or 100 or 300, and I get it tomorrow, I would have probably considered that.
Yeah,
So that's
thank
the
you.
way to, kind of generate value here, as well as playing with your hero, right?
I love your
Yeah,
answer.
Jorge, I like his modesty at the beginning. And Axie Infinity is a very tough bar to try to reach there, right? Because they're one of the first ones that really made it big and had a lot of the hype behind them. But from disregarding the Axie Infinity thing, I think the Bitverse does have potential to be very big. What we're planning to build with the universe of games and a multitude of games that we will continue to grow over time and adapt and bring the community in to help us adapt. I think we are just starting to scratch the surface of what NFT gaming can allow to do, between how we're going with folks being able to own their assets, whether through tokens or NFTs. I think there's a lot more potential around the NFTs and how they can be used in games and in tournament style stuff that I think 5 years from now we'll look back and be like, wow, those games were very, very simple. Almost like when we look back at the early Web 2 games, right? Compared to what they are now, they almost seem quaint by comparison. I think 5 years from now we'll be saying the same thing. And I'm hoping that we are able to make the Bitverse one of those people really pushing that boundary as we move forward.
Yeah, and to add a little bit to that, I think a big part of our mission has been to turn Web 2 people into Web 3 users, right? And it's been a journey, to be honest, because again, we have this game since 2016. It had a huge Web 2 community behind it, right? And I won't lie to you, when we told them about NFTs at the beginning of the year, the reaction was massively negative. Like, nobody liked them. Nobody wanted to hear anything about them. They were like so anti NFTs, right? And blockchain and Web3. And it's what Donnie was saying, right? Like, over the last months, like, and particularly I think the last month, very heavily, like, we've really managed to turn that sentiment around, right? And there's a lot of folks from Web2 that are excited about this, that are learning how to create a wallet, that are learning how to, sign in with their MetaMask into an allow list, or to buy things within. And I think that's the big part of our mission. And I think that's how we're going to become big. It's because we're going to be the first project out there that really delivers on the promise of blockchain games, right? That introduces the Web2 audience to the Web3 world and gets those two together.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I love the answers, modest but full of surprises.
Thank you.
Great, guys. So how about the security audits? Who's performing them?
That is a great question. I think the security audit has been done. Hold on. we would need our CTO for this, but we are using IMX, right, for most of the things. And you can use your MetaMask wallet to sign in, so that's self-custodial, right? And IMX is also not we're not really in touch with their wallets that they're creating through Magic Link. So that is a question that I don't think we can answer right now, to be honest.
So your CTO,
Donnie, do you have
Max,
any info there? I don't think we do, right?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me text him. I might be able to answer that later. Give me a sec.
Yeah, it's all right. Say hi to Max as well.
Lou.
And meanwhile, let me ask you, Donnie, how are you planning to prevent the hackers in game?
I hate doing this. It might be the same thing down to Max, but I mean, we have our existing game has been around for a long time now. While it hasn't had the blockchain technology, we've had to use security to, in game as well. So we have experience there, and then we're trying to use best practices outlined by IMX and the ETH network to try to improve the security of our NFTs and how folks get to them. The NFTs themselves will remain in your wallet when they're used in game. What we're going to do is you'll have a Congregate login that will go and you'll log into that. You'll link your wallet to that, and then when you actually log into Congregate, whether it's on your mobile or through the web, it'll go in and just look and see if you have the NFTs in there. And if you do, then it will access in-game data that's off-chain that will then determine how that NFT reacts in the game. So we're not actually going to be pulling NFTs out of anyone's wallet. We're not going to be storing them anywhere ourselves. They'll be remaining, say, in your MetaMask wallet or your Magic Link wallet. So we're hoping that should definitely reduce potential for hackers to be able to get in and deal with that. Jorge, do you know any more about that?
About the question about preventing hackers in game and preventing the use of NFTs. Yeah, so I think the answer to that is hackers in games are not going to have the ability to take away your NFTs, mostly because I was asking for the previous question answer to Max, and I got it, so I can answer that in a sec. But basically, the idea is that you're going to connect your wallet to your Congregate account. That's going to be what's used to play in the games. So if someone steals your Congregate account, they might be able to play with your NFT, but they won't be able to steal it from you. If you see what I mean, because they won't have access to your wallet. That would still be a separate entity from the account, right? So they don't have access to it. So that should be secure on itself.
So they can actually level up your character, and you will still have
for free. Yeah, that's actually good. I mean, good stuff. I'm sure we're gonna see people sharing accounts and all sort of interesting things, which is okay. At the end of the day, this is also what we're doing here. It's your asset. You do with it whatever you want. You wanna give it to your friend while you are you're going to school, or you're just going to work and somebody else can grind for you. Sure, that's fine. This is what we're doing. So I don't qualify that as a fraudulent use of the NFT, for example. Now we might see some instances like that we've been talking about, right? Like maybe somebody is trying to play with the NFT and then tries to sell the NFT in a marketplace, and we're gonna prevent that by frozen the assets, right? So if you're putting your hero or NFT item into a marketplace, you're not going to be able to use it in game. So it's you have to pick one or the other, right? At the moment you stop, you cancel your auction, your sale, you will be able to use it again. But that's as far as we are today. I'm sure we'll see more things. I'm sure we're going to see people exploiting offers and things like that, but that's okay. We'll deal with that when those things come up.
Yeah, great. What did Max say about the audit?
So he said exactly what I was thinking. ImmutableX is basically assisting us on this phase. They're reviewing the contracts. They have experience from, working with Illuvium, with Planet Quest, with Guild of Guardians, and with Gods, which I think are some of the biggest titles out there today that are, that are really well backed up and that are building something interesting. So yeah, we trust them for that.
Great, thank you. So let's jump in the future of Bitverse as well a little bit. So are you planning to add new NFTs with different classes in the future?
So that's an interesting question. Donnie, do you want to go, or I have an idea that I haven't shared with anyone.
Yeah, go ahead then, and I'll just jump on.
So I would need to check. But besides, we've been talking about two different sets of ERC 721s, right? We'd be talking about heroes and items, mounts, familiars, etc. But those are still 721s, right? I think they're going to be different asset classes in the sense that the hero is something that you really will sell rarely, right? Like we expect a lot of circulation at the beginning because, maybe Donnie got the one that has the blue hair and I have the one that has the purple hair. And hey, I want yours, you want mine. Let's sell them, let's trade them, whatever. There's going to be a bit of that at the beginning, but then we expect people to hold on to those, once they have one that they like, we expect them to hold on to it and play with that asset for a long time before they sell it again. Items and the rest are going to be completely different in the sense that they're going to be highly transactable, right? Like I see people like, I'm going to use this sword for the next month, and then I'm going to sell it and buy a better one. Sell it and buy a better, right? So there's going to be someone coming from behind who's going to be buying that, and that's how the cycle continues. So that's as far as 721s go. Now I think there's a new asset class of NFTs, which is the 1055? Is it? I don't remember the exact number, sorry, but it's a rental NFT, right? So it's basically an NFT that comes with a contract that allows you to, write into it like, who are you gonna, like, imagine I have like the hero with the purple hair, right? And I want to give it away to Donnie without, the fear that he might take it away from me, right? When I'm not looking. So what this new type of NFT does is that it allows me to say like, hey, I'm going to give it to Donnie for the next 3 hours, and then it's going to come back to me. So that's a new asset class that I'm thinking about. We haven't really yet explored, but yeah, I love the idea.
Yeah. New NFTs and new features. I like it as well.
Yeah, and then if we want to get a little bit more game specific, if I think through it, our initial batch of heroes are really geared towards the games we already have, either they're about to release, or under development, right? And so a lot of their perks are more geared towards that. But when you start talking in the future and you get to like, oh, we're going to have a game 6, 7, 8, game 100, whatever it turns out to be, I think those games will obviously be of different genres. And so if we end up having future iterations of the heroes, I could see where some of those may be more oriented in their perks and maybe even their attributes, how they look, geared towards those games. So whether they're classes or not, I don't know, but I could definitely see the perks changing to keep up with how the Bitverse is evolving over time as well.
Great. Thank you. So before jumping to the community questions, I have one last question about the future. Could you tell us one big achievement that you will achieve in the next year? Something big that no one even has heard yet, a teaser maybe?
So we talked about the token launch, right, in the first half of 2023, and probably the Bitforge coming up in the second half. I can tell you, we're exploring 3 games for right now for the 4th Bitverse game. One we're calling Bit Heroes Battlegrounds. I won't say much more about it, but maybe people can envision something with that name. Another one is Bit Heroes CCG, which obviously is not very like, what is that game that he's talking about? What could it be? So I think that's very it tells itself what it is. And the third one is a tower defense type of game. So we're looking at those 3 right now as options. We'll see. Cannot tell you which one are we gonna pick.
Okay, we'll wait and see, I guess.
I think the other feature, which we haven't touched on today, and we do have it in our white paper, is more around transitioning towards a DAO over time, right? And having folks who have ownership, both of the token after we launch it, but also the NFT heroes to be able to earn ownership or voting rights within the DAO and start to transition some of that stuff over to them and let them start to vote on the future of how we're going. You know, as Jorge says, right now, that may be our decision for which of these threes would be the next one. But if you were to fast forward this 2 years and maybe we're more of a DAO, then maybe the community would actually, we'd present all three proposals and the community gets to decide which one's the next one. Or if third parties want to bring games over, they'd be able to vote or be able to vote on what the next perks are for NFTs, those type of things. I think it's the other piece that we weren't able to touch on today so far.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll go with the community questions. Thank you. Those were all my questions. And if we didn't ask, and if you guys didn't answer something that others were interested about, don't forget to join their Discord, Bitverse Discord, or ask on their Twitter. I'm sure they will be happy to help. Let's go. First question from Abhishek Kumar. What is your, or ask on their, how does Bitverse overcome every obstacle in its project development?
Biggest obstacle is that we're doing something that nobody else has done before. So that's no small feat, right? This whole concept of, hey, we're gonna have this asset or this ID on a ledger, and we're gonna turn that into a PFP, and that PFP is then gonna somehow connect to a game. And within that game, we're going to render that, and then we're going to show it to you, and then you're going to be able to play with it, and then you're going to be able to start progress with it. And all these features that we're building on top of it, like, that's wild. Like, let me tell you, I am amazed at what our engineering team and product team, and to be honest, everyone has achieved here. It's just like, it's incredible. And in terms of how do we approach this, is, I don't know, we just get together, we discuss about the problems that keep coming up, because I'll tell you this, they just keep coming up when we think we figured something out. It's like, oh, but we need to think about all these edge cases, and there's like legal requirements and stuff that kind of come up from nowhere, and we need to solve as we go. And I'm just very happy to have a team that reacts very well to that and knows how to navigate those circumstances, because a lot of people would just go crazy, right? I know of some projects in the crypto space as well that they face similar issues and people just bailed. They just went like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're out, right? That's not us. We just keep pushing relentlessly and we get it done.
And if I can throw on, Jorge may be underselling that a little bit, because not only one game we're trying to transfer it to, it's multiple games. And I can give you a quick example of one I dealt with, I think about 3 weeks ago, where it was the PFP, the hero was kind of off to the side like this. And so the arm was kind of covering the torso. Well, in one of the games that was fine to be able to translate to the game, but another game, the arms were spread out a little bit more. So we had to answer questions of like, well, what does that side of the torso look like that's being covered by the arm? And how does that look in the game? So there's a lot of little details that come out as we're trying to transfer these to multiple games that we end up coming across. Like, we didn't even think of that until someone's actually going in trying to create the first version of the game. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's figure out how to solve that problem.
I can hear Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
So number 2, Casa de Vovo. Bitverse is doing a great job listening to all community. Please, can you tell the benefits that earliest players will get with this migration to Web3? Do you think about developing your own crypto wallet in-game?
Yeah, early benefits for players that will get into this migration to Web3. So I think we're doing a lot of different things, right? So if you're an existing Beach Heroes Quest player, right, we're gonna give you away, like right now we have like a community event, right? So for every person who joins our allow list and the bitverse.io, www.thebitverse.io, we're gonna give a gem away to everyone playing the game, right? So far, I think we're gonna give away something like 400 gems, and if we get to 3,000 people in the allow list, 4,000, that's worth like $30-$40 that we're gonna give away to everyone, right? So that's the gift for all people. Then again, if you're an existing Beat Heroes player and you buy an NFT hero, during the pre-sale that is coming up on September 22nd. So I think that's next Thursday. You can get a lot of cosmetic options, like cosmetic items and boosts in the game that are going to make your progress a lot easier and simpler. What else are we doing? Some of the perks from owning an NFT are going to apply to all the heroes in your account. So if you have an NFT hero and you want to benefit from, the bonus on gem purchases, like you're going to be able to do that as long as you own an NFT hero in your account. And that is for existing players, right? For new people who are coming into the Bitverse, we have a referral program right now where we're giving away, I think it's up to 50 IMX tokens for referring friends, and if those friends actually make a purchase on September 22nd. And that I think the limit is like 300 IMX per person, Donnie, or 600? 600. So you can earn up all the way up to 600 IMX, right? Potentially rendering your purchase free, depending on what you're buying, right? Like if you buy a common, which I think it's worth like, it's like $100, so it's probably going to be like 100 IMX, give or take, plus minus 10. And you make 600, like, it was free and you got 500 more. So that's nice. And that's what we're doing for people coming up today. Of course, a lot of the assets trades that you're going to get on the Generation Zero from this pre-sale, you're never going to be able to get again in the future. So those are good ways to bring people early. Good reasons. The prices are going to go up on subsequent sales. So again, the more reason to join as soon as possible. And to answer the second part of the question, which is if we will ever develop a crypto wallet in game.
Yeah.
I don't think we will. To be honest, I think there's plenty of good solutions out there. MetaMask, Magic Link, what IMX offers, like all of those work very well. And I think at the end of the day, like developing your own wallet brings a lot of issues, right? We were talking about security moments ago. We would rather not have to deal with that.
I think there may be two more perks, Jorge, that we should call it as well. The Generation Zero, at the higher rarities, are going to get the first NFT pet and the first NFT mount. And those will be delivered later. They're not going to be delivered on midday. But we plan to have an article, I think, try to come out tomorrow that'll give a little bit more details about them. But we're trying to make them very attractive to users and to people who jump in early as well. And we're trying to make it so those are sought after items 6 months, a year down the road. People are going to want those NFT pet and mount that come out. The other one I would say that Jorge left off is you get a head start on progressing your character. We will be launching like tournaments and season passes and everything. And people who potentially buy in later might be starting off at a level 1 or level 0 character in some of these games, where maybe you've already been able to put in a month or a couple months into the game and already have a much higher level, stronger character because of it.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So let's go. Number 3 from Anpal Omega. Trust is very important in business. What makes investors, customers, and users feel safe when working with your project?
I think it's the fact that we've been working on games for 16 years. I've only been working in this for 10. Donnie just recently joined up, but you can see our faces. Like we are in our site, in our white paper, which also you can find in your site. Like there's the faces of everyone working and leading this project, right? And you can just look into our LinkedIn profiles, see what we worked on, right? We have people who've been working for 25 years in the industry, and we're Congregate, and we're in this for real. And we have a game, and we've shown gameplay for the other 2 already. So I don't know what else do you need, man, but I think that proves a lot.
Yeah, I think the other thing to add there, and that's a very strong case, but the other thing to add there is we've also been paying attention to what's been going on in Web3 gaming, right? And we're learning from those lessons. And a lot of places are devaluing assets. They have massive inflation, those type of things. And we are absolutely trying not to go down that path, and are planning not to go down that path. That's one of the reasons why we're launching with one of our utility assets, the NFT first, and not worrying about tokenomics right now. Like, let's start. That will give us the ability to see how players actually utilize these things in game, and then we start to roll the token out after we have user data to figure out what would be the most useful way to utilize that token, and go from there. So I think that's probably the other piece as well.
Yep. So number 4 from Albert. Many projects start but get stuck along the way. Could you tell me if you plan to stay active and offer projects and opportunities to the community in the long term? Well, you already answered this in our chat. You're going to push until the limit and then hit the limit and go forward.
Correct. We won't stop at anything. We'll just keep doing things. And again, we have a game already, plus 2 more coming up this year. And by the way, if you buy an NFT hero, another reason to get in there is because you will get access to exclusive betas to test the games before anyone else. So if you want to test the games, you can just come over. I think I'm not sure if it's in mid-October or end of October, but that's when Arena is going to be playable for NFT owners and people that join the beta program.
Guys, you've got the invitation. Don't forget to join their Discord, join Bitverse on Discord, on Telegram, and follow their Twitter. I'm sure they will post the news and you can follow along.
And
We have one last
on that,
question.
Jorge and I both get in there practically every day and interact with folks and answer questions and try to clarify things, and also just solicit feedback. We have made some changes to some things we were talking about doing based on what the community has been saying.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're listening to the community and doing changes. That's amazing. So number 5, last question from Fire Has Fame. Do you believe you could accomplish the things in your roadmap in this fragile market environment? This is the question of the century, actually.
Yes. So the short answer to that is we're going to try our best. We are in this for, we laid out like a 3-year plan, right? Sometimes things get delayed. So, for example, originally we wanted our pre-sale to happen, I think it was April or March. Can't remember right now. We're in September, so there's already been a delay. So things can take a little bit more. Usually take more than you think. Usually, that's why when Donnie and I were looking at some projects, right, and we were talking about what had happened last year, all of these teams that never made games coming up and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna have this amazing MMORPG with this amount of depth in 6 months. Come on, buy my token." Like, it was very clear that was going to be vaporware and a ripoff. That's not our case. We are backed by Congregate, right? We are funding all of this with the money that Bitverse generates and some other Congregate funds. And I'm fairly confident that for the next year we're going to be pushing very, very hard to get things done. If by the end of next year, things are not really working out, then we'll probably think about pivoting or doing something a little bit differently. But we're going to keep pushing and getting it done. And yeah, I think we trust in what we're building. We think it's an incredible thing. Everyone who hears about the pitch gets super excited. And when they see the games, they even like it more. So why not?
Yeah, thank you. So those were all my questions. If you have anything to add, please do now, or I will say my goodbyes to the community.
We're good. Thank you, Justin, for having us here again.
Hold on, one more. Allow list is open until September 19th. You can go on to the bitverse.io, sign up. We also have the ability, if you're worried that you want a particular type of portal, which is what our fancy word for packs are that you would open up to get a Bitverse hero, you have the option to actually reserve one for a small fee and be able to guarantee your space to get one during the actual pre-sale. Pre-sale takes place next week. Starting on 9/21, we have a 24-hour window, exclusive window for folks who have reserved a portal. They can go in and buy it. They'll be able to immediately open and reveal their hero right away. 24 hours later, on the 22nd, we will open up to folks on the allow list, and they will have 24 hours, again, exclusive window to go on and make purchases. They'll be able to purchase more than one. I think it's up to 10. They'll be allowed to purchase. And then on the 23rd, we will then allow it, open it up to the general public to be able to go in and purchase the portal packs. We have 2,500 portals spread across 4 different rarities for folks to be able to go buy.
All right, thank you. So Jorge, Donnie, thank you. It was a most sincere pleasure and honor chatting with you today. And let's keep in touch. Everyone, don't forget to join Bitverse's socials and also Spintop socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
See you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you.